I started my tech YouTube channel a little more than a year ago now, and I started recording with just my phone. I then upgraded to the Sony ZV-E10, which gave me a nice sized APS-C sensor and ultra sharp 4K video. There's just no debating it's the best beginner camera with a great low price of $699 that's not going to break your bank. While it does have good benefits and features, I wanted to upgrade to a more pro level camera, and that's why I decided to purchase the Lumix S5 Mark II. On today's video, I want to tell you why I upgraded, what I like about this camera, some other things that I wish it had, and who this camera is for. With the Sony ZV-E10, I purchased the kit lens, the Sigma 16mm lens, which cost me $350, the Sony G 15mm lens, which was around $800 US, and because I already had those APS-C size lenses, I was thinking of upgrading to the Sony FX30, which brings many pro level features like IBIS, 4K 120 FPS, and very nice picture profiles. I would just be able to plug and play those existing lenses I have, and it made the most sense for me. It's a smaller clone of the much more expensive FX3, but just with the smaller sensor. And right when I was about to pull the trigger, Panasonic announced the Lumix S5 II, and that's when I went on a spiral on which one to purchase. The Sony FX30 cost $1,800, and it's only $200 cheaper than the Lumix. After tons of debating, I decided to go with the Panasonic since it's almost the same price. I get a bigger full frame sensor, and with this release, Panasonic has fixed the autofocus issues that has plagued them in the past. I always hear pros saying how the Lumix S5 was amazing, but it just sucked when it came to the autofocus. I had no idea how much I was missing, such as having 2 memory slots on the side, and this IBIS is just wow. I almost haven't needed to use my gimbal anymore. Well, with that said, let's jump onto some of the pros of this camera. The in-body stabilization in this camera is just amazing. You're actually able to just hold the camera with your hands and get very usable footage. With my ZV-E10, it would even pick up my heartbeat and it would show up on video, and that's not a good thing. I would always hear the pros mentioning IBIS, but I had no idea how amazing it is until you actually use it. This feature alone makes this camera a very smart choice if you're doing vlogging or if you want to do B-roll with just holding the camera with your hands. While some of the pros mention you can get the same shots with an APS-C sensor, full frame is just better. It does better in low lighting, it's able to capture more, it gives you better dynamic range, and you're able to even go down to APS-C sensor size if you have those lenses. Try doing the opposite with a smaller camera. You can do more with full frame and can sometimes be limited if you're on the smaller sensor. With this new generation of the Lumix lineup, Panasonic has now matched Sony with their autofocus. Their new face auto detect works great. When I'm recording someone or myself, it puts a square around my face to let me know that I'm being focused. You can also switch between focusing an entire area, just the center of the lens, and you can also do autofocus plus manual focus at the same time. You just click on the screen and it'll switch to manual focus. And for my use, it works great. I notice when I use focus with the human option, it works the best. You can also choose to focus in the eyes if that's what you want. Other cool features is having dual memory slots, which are on the side of the camera. With the ZV-E10, I had to change them from the bottom of the camera, and it would share the door with the battery. It may seem like something small, but when you're actually using them, it's pretty big. I also get a full-size HDMI port which I can use to easily plug into any monitor with no issues. I'm able to do unlimited 4K video recording, and it's not going to let you down. You can also record in 8-bit and 10-bit. You'll probably run out of battery first before you stop recording. It also brings a fan to help with the cooling, and unlike the Sony a7 IV which overheats, this will not, and it's a champ. The video quality you get is superb, and I'm able to shoot in vlog and get beautiful results once I do the color grading. Finally, this baby can even record in 6K, but you have to use that .MOV file type, and it's limited to 30 minutes of recording. So far, the only con is that it does not do 4K in 120 frames per second. It will do 4K 60 frames per second, but it's going to add some cropping. It will do 120 FPS, but you'll have to sacrifice resolution as it'll only do it in 1080p. So far, this is the only negative that affects my workflow, but it's still not a deal breaker for me. This camera is perfect if you're thinking of upgrading to a pro level camera and you find yourself in a situation like me where you have an APS-C camera and you're looking to get pro results without having to refinance your home and get a second mortgage. It's also for someone who can take advantage of all its features, so if you're a straight up noob, I would start with something like the Sony ZV-E10, since all the features can be very overwhelming at first. But if you start with the ZV-E10, you can start learning with that, since that's what happened to me. I was able to master the ZV-E10, and now that I needed to level up, I was able to. And while some of the features do kind of feel overwhelming at times, because of the experience that I have gained from my previous camera, I can now transition into this camera with no issues. Keep in mind there's also the S5 II X that's going to come out in May if you want to wait for that one. It's going to be all blacked out in color. It's going to cost you $200 more. It's going to offer raw video recording. You're going to be able to record directly to an SSD via HDMI or USB, and you can do all internal recording in 5.8K at 800 Mbps. You will also be able to do wired and wireless streaming directly with this camera. I hope you found value in this video and enjoyed the footage I was able to provide today. We are living in exciting times with technology as we get tremendous value with the cameras shown today. Give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more tech stuff. Until next time, Ultra Tech out.